This podcast is certified fresh. Freshmediaworks.com.
I was Apple's first child laborer back when I was 13 years old, back in 1977. And that's true. That sort of got me my start in studying new things and the people who make them. I worked at Microsoft, wrote 8 books about the future that predict decade-long change.
Welcome to Lunch with Chris, where your host, Chris Daly, brings you uplifting interviews with extraordinary individuals making a positive impact. Join as he introduces remarkable people who have left their mark on their respective fields.
Have you ever thought about doing your own podcast? It is the absolute best way to grow your brand, spread your message, and build your following. Fresh Media Works can help. We do all the heavy lifting, and you just focus on your message. To find out how easy we can make launching your new podcast, call 713-269-4620 or check us out at freshmediaworks.com. All right, everybody, join me in welcoming Robert Scoble, the Scobleizer, to the show. How you doing, Robert?
I'm doing great. What's going on?
As we were saying before we started rolling, just living the dream, playing with nerdy things.
I got a new robot making us food, and that's
Nice.
fun. Yeah.
Nice. If you could, you give a quick 30,000-foot overview for the people who are non-techie, who don't know that, you're tech royalty.
I was Apple's first child laborer back when I was 13 years old, back in 1977. And that's true. That sort of got me my start in studying new things and the people who make them. I worked at Microsoft, wrote 8 books about the future that predict decade-long change. I study consumer behavior across America, been to every state except Alaska doing that. And been around the world. I was just in Abu Dhabi last week, which was highly entertaining. I've been, doing this. I had a famous blog in Silicon Valley for more than a decade. It still is a little famous now, but the world has gotten a lot noisier than when I started it. But I launched many companies. Siri was launched in my house. The Insta360 camera company was launched in my house. The Matic robot company last year was launched in my house, and they're doing real well. And I've launched many, many, many companies on my blogs or my media.
I love that. And you mentioned your blogging history. You had one of the early movers in the blogging world, as I was one of the early movers in the podcasting world. Everything has evolved since then. What did we as tech guys get wrong that we thought was going to happen?
I don't know. When I first saw autonomous cars, I thought they would never ship in my lifetime, and I own 2 of them now. So,
Nice.
Sometimes you miss on timing. Sometimes you get excited about a company that doesn't survive for a bunch of reasons, and sometimes you miss things that are like, where the hell did that company come from?
Right.
Particularly lately, I've on X, I have lists of 7,500 AI companies. I can't cover them all anymore. Back in the early days, I could cover everything, but I try to keep up. I cataloged them all into separate buckets so I can talk to people like you about what's going on. And I have following 35,000 AI people, researchers and developers and insiders.
And are you using AI to help you do that?
Not yet. Just starting to.
Yeah.
I have a friend, a guy. One of the companies I found this year was Lavangi Labs, who has a new AI. He calls it a cognitive architecture, and his AI does way better than even Anthropic Claude that came out yesterday. And we're hooking his AI up to my list to get some things out of it, like an hourly report or something from my investor list or something like that. Right?
That's cool. That's very cool. Yeah. So, as the noise gets noisier, how do you differentiate between the noise and the civilization changing stuff?
Well, this is why I follow 30, why I follow everybody I can find, right,
Yeah.
in AI. And I really started focusing on AI. Well, the Siri was launched in my house, and that was the first AI consumer app.
Hmm.
So I've followed it from the beginning. But ever since, ChatGPT really came out, 4 years ago, I started really following it strongly then. Plus, I was an early customer of Tesla's
Hmm.
self-driving, and as that got better and better, even in the early days, I was like, oh, this is starting to become real. And I
Yeah.
started pouring a lot of attention in that. And I also started noticing every new company used AI. so,
Yeah.
so I figured, well, if I like new things, like new companies, I better study AI really deeply. And that's why I'm watching it. 35,000 people in the AI world on my screen on X Pro.
Jeez.
And when you watch that many people, it's like listening to a stadium all talking to you at the same
Yeah.
time. You can see patterns. You can see, like, right now, Anthropic Cloud is getting praised by a lot of people. Right? They just came out with a new coding model yesterday, and so that informs me. Oh, I better pay attention to this company. And then I'm blessed. A lot of people just write me and say, "Hey, I got a new thing," or I do a lot of X audio spaces.
Hmm.
In fact, I met Ken Granville several years ago on an X audio space, and he was making grandiose claims. Oh, I found a way to speed up AI. I'm like, oh yeah, you and every other Joe. But just 5 days ago, he released the results from his AI, and it's greatly speeding up GPUs.
Nice.
So that I've been blessed on being able to talk to a lot of people and be on a lot of panels and a lot of public spaces, and people write me and say, "Oh, you aren't paying attention enough to this."
Right.
Right?
Right. And you were on some space the other day on X, and somebody was talking about. I think he was saying he was Jesus, and was talking about universal income and all that. And you
Well,
got a little heated in that one.
yeah, you know, there's a lot of people who, you know, um, say they got something and they don't.
Yeah.
So it's hard to figure out who has something and who doesn't. But the ones who do tend to call me up and go, "Here's the demo."
Yeah. Right.
Right? Yeah. You're wrong. I have proof.
Right. Yeah.
Other
That's
people
big.
just
Yeah. Is it real? So,
other people they just have a lot of opinions. By the way, you know, even experts are almost always wrong.
oh yeah. 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 That's the key to being a good prognosticator is just make a lot of predictions because you'll get a couple right.
But well, like I told Bill Gates when I worked for him to buy all of Web 2.0, and he wrote back, or the executive team wrote back and said, "We don't think your ideas have any business value."
Oops.
And it's like, well, they should have bought it. They should have. They
Yeah.
should have listened. They would have made Microsoft a lot more money. But thank God they didn't. But in hindsight, Microsoft would have fucked it all up.
Yeah, that sounds like me screaming into the void 20 years ago about podcasting, about how, look, it's going to be big.
Yeah, yeah. My first book was about social media before X started, right?
Yeah.
And I remember giving keynotes with Gary Vaynerchuk to thousands of people, going, "Hey, this new thing, social media. Everybody's going to be on it. Every business is going to be on it. And if you get on it late, you're screwing up because you're not going to have as good of results." And people would argue with us.
Yeah.
Very few people would agree with us. So
Yeah, I guess.
I get that. Trying to change people is a lonely, thankless job.
So, you talk about robotics, you've been playing in that arena. How
Yeah.
far away from the Jetsons' Rosie are we?
Um, the consensus is, and it depends how you define it.
Yeah.
if you define it as a generalized humanoid robot that can walk into your place of business or walk into your home and do anything seamlessly, um, in a generalized way, they most people say about 5 years. Um, on the other hand, world models have just come on with and associate models, VLAs, vision
Mhm.
language action models, which use video to train. And those are going to bear a lot of fruit next year, right?
Wow.
So you're going to see robots. I just talked to the guy who does reinforcement learning at a Chinese robotics company. He says, yeah, we expect the robots to go from really sort of stupid and goofy to being really pretty smart, to being able to do, 1,000 tasks in the next year. And
Wow.
that'll fool a lot of people thinking that it's generalized, but
Yeah.
you know,
It's
that'll start
still
the
specific. Yeah. Yeah. It's funny
that'll
because
start it
I've
off.
got human VAs that I've spent a year trying to teach a second task to.
Yeah.
So I know it's tough.
What's coming is much faster learning and much more understanding of 3D-ness, which is what
Mhm.
the world model does. The I really figured out the world model a couple weeks ago when I went to a farmer's market and
Mhm.
I took out my iPhone, and I just acted like I was going to be a Optimus robot, just looking
Mhm.
around, checking out the berries and walking down the aisle and talking to a farmer. I uploaded that to X AI, to X, and asked it, "What did you learn by watching this video?" Well, it learned everything. It analyzed the sun hitting the market and knew what time of the day it
Wow.
was just from that. It analyzed the cars around the market. It analyzed the people in the market. It analyzed the berries. It's like, oh, those berries were really fresh. I'm like, whoa, you know a lot of things all of a sudden, right? It read all the signs.
Yeah.
It heard me talking to the farmer and did a rag lookup on the farmer, found out where that farmer, where his address is, how many acres of land he has, what other shows he goes to. I mean, it learns everything from one 10-minute video, right? So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's how they're training the world models, right?
Yeah.
They're ingesting all this video into a world model and building a world model that understands the world at a very deep level. And so, by the end of next year, you're going to see a robot understand at least the world that it's walking around in very deeply, understand everything it's seeing, everything it touches,
Right.
everything it has to move around. Oh, that's an elevator door. Okay, I got to push the button, right?
Wow.
And that's why yeah, it's going to happen pretty fast. I think next year is going to be a huge year for robotics and for holodecks, because the reverse of that is to
Yeah.
spit out the world model to a glasses and a headset, a VR headset, and all of a sudden you are in a virtual world, right?
Yeah.
Of any kind. You want to go skiing in the Swiss Alps? Hey, world model, I want to be skiing, right?
Yeah.
Or you want to go to some video game? Hey, build me a video game, right? And Oliver Cameron really kicked that off. I interviewed Oliver Cameron. He's the guy who started the Cruise autonomous car company that sold to General Motors, and then General
Mhm.
Motors fucked it all up. But as big tech
As
does,
they do. Yeah.
big traditional automakers do. But he laid out in that interview what's about to come in holodecks and in robotics from world models, and that's sort of why I started really spending a lot of time understanding them and talking to a lot of people in robotics about them.
Yeah. So let's take this from an individual's point of view. What's important for them to know, just the average person, the average American, because right now they understand Chat GPT enough to ask it a question like a dictionary. But
Yeah. Number one, you need to learn about agentic AI.
Yeah.
And that sounds like a big scary word, but it just means you have 1,000 interns all of a sudden.
Right. Right.
And you can tell the interns what to do. Yeah, go
Yeah.
research this, go answer my email, go schedule my calendar, shop for my wife. What would you do with an AI agent? If you learn how to do that, now you take your AI understanding way further. And there's several platforms you should be looking at: Manus, Flowwith, GenSpark, Pokey with two E's. That use a little bit different AI, and you should use all of them. If you're
yeah. I mean, my bank account is
20
is
bucks here, 20
evident. I'm
bucks here. All of a
using all of them.
sudden, you're spending $1,000 a month. Where the hell did this all come from?
Exactly. Exactly.
By the way, you can have an AI agent watch your receipts and see,
and pay attention to which ones I'm using and which ones I'm not.
Exactly, right.
There's
So you
many
gotta have AI agents watching your bills.
Right. Like I was an early on person with 11 Labs. Now 11 Labs is included in some of the other stuff I pay for.
Yeah, there's ways to get a lot of these things for free, or you pay one fee and you get a bunch of. Flowwith is like that. It lets you try a lot of different models underneath it, so you can start learning how to run these agents and see how Anthropic, Claude, or DeepSeek, or all these different models would run. That's the other thing. If you're a normie, you have no idea what DeepSeek is, or Anthropic Claude is. Yeah. So got to learn, got to catch up. I'm trying to catch up too.
So what is right now? You mentioned a couple agentic AI solutions. What is your go-to?
For a normal person, I would probably say start with GenSpark. They just became $1 billion valuation in less than a year.
Yeah.
They do a variety of things, from making slide decks, to running your spreadsheets, to helping you with your email, to doing your customer service, to doing a whole bunch of things. And they run with a bunch of models underneath, and they automatically pick the model that's best for what you're asking. And they also have a memory, so as you use it, it gets better over time, because if you have it build a spreadsheet or a slide deck, it learns about you and what you're trying to do in your business, and what your goals are in life, and it uses that to improve the whole suite of things it can do. They're one of the biggest users of OpenAI, real interesting, innovative company. They ship every couple of weeks something new. So,
one of the things I find really cool about it, and this is just the tech nerd in me, is it gives you a monthly breakdown of which agents are being used the most that month for your tasks. Again, that's just the nerd in me that goes, oh, I didn't realize I was using BO3 that much, or Nano Banana, or whatever.
Yeah. That's the other thing. Try all the AI art ones, man. They're so fun.
Crazy. It's crazy.
I did one this morning. It was like, give it 6 images and makes you a fun little video in a couple minutes.
And which ones are you playing with there? I'm doing a lot on Sora still, but which ones are you playing with?
This morning I was using Dreamina, which uses Nano Banana and a few others. Sort of like GenSpark. But right now the crowd says Nano Banana is the best, right? From Google. Google's and Google's Gemini 3, which came out last week, is also a really good model. So if you're not playing with Google AI Studio, you should be keeping up to date, and they have a lot of advantages in life. Their stock is up today because they are the market's perceiving they're taking share away from NVIDIA, which isn't really true, but that's the market for you.
Nice. And what is something big in AI that people maybe are not thinking about yet?
There's a lot of new ones coming. Levanji Labs is a good example of this. A 20-year-old kid doesn't have billions of dollars, kicking ass.
Love that.
You compare the answers that his thing gives is way better than any of the commercial retail ones. He just has a very different approach he's actually using the models underneath his system, but he's manipulating those models very differently than if you just try to do it, with English. And he's an example of somebody coming out of left field that nobody's paying attention to. That's gonna whack a lot of people. Yeah. And there's a group of them. There's Peter Voss down in Texas. He runs a company called AIGO. He's been claiming for years that the whole industry is heading in the wrong direction and that he has a better answer. And I'm now starting to understand why he says that, and that he has something. There's another company called Versus that's doing active inferencing that in the labs is just eviscerating a lot of things. So change is coming, and it's always these people from left field who, the big money and the big attention isn't paying attention to them because they don't have $1 billion yet. But watch for new approaches coming that will be overturning some apple carts.
yeah, no doubt. And so, what about your podcast, Unaligned? Will that ever come back?
Oh, you mean my YouTube channel?
Oh, well, it was the podcast is what I was referring to, the audio
I've
version.
been doing a podcast on X,
right.
And I post video. Like I visited a dentist who's doing AI dentistry yesterday, and I'll put that up on X.
Oh,
I've been ignoring all the others. I don't care.
I get it.
I don't care. I just can't keep up, man.
That's why I love audio podcast over video, just because I can do it while I'm doing other stuff.
Well, I do X audio spaces on X, and I do a lot of those. I join a lot of those Tesla ones and AI. And then Irina and I do one usually on Tuesday afternoons at 4 p.m., which I don't have a guest for this afternoon. It's sort of Thanksgiving week. I think we'll take the week off. But
there you go.
We do that on a regular basis. But that's on X. All that's on my highlights tab on X.
Right.
So if I was a smart media person, I'd be writing an app to take that audio recording and putting it over on Spotify and Apple podcasting. But like I said, I just haven't cared so far. And I see X as the place the AI community is. If you're not on X, you're just you're way behind. You're way behind. I watch all of them.
It really has a big home there on X. You're right, because the rest of the socials, they're just not digging in. They're good places to share what you created, but not to learn anything.
No, that's true. So and I see X's AI Grok is just about to get turned on the algorithm. And so over the next year, I think you're going to see XAI radically change as well and become much more useful. And even if they don't do that, I'm hooking up Lavangi Labs to my X lists so that I can do a variety of things and see things. Because like right now, I'm paying attention to you. I'm not looking at my X account.
Right.
And it's constant.
It's flying.
If you put all my lists into X Pro, you see it in real time with no filtering, and you see what the world of social media looks like without an algorithm picking a few things for you to see when you're thumbing through. And there's way more content that I can pay attention to. So now that XAI has a decent model, I mean, you can say, Gemini and Anthropic are better right now, but it depends how you look at it. It's in the top 3 or 4, but it's a competent model. Now that they have that, they're starting to turn on features, right? And first one is fix the algorithm so it picks good things for people to
Yeah.
see when they're thumbing through.
Right. Right. So what advice would you give medium-sized business, that is being inundated right now by these so-called experts who have an AI certification that Joe Smith gave them? Yeah.
The way they approach me when I come knocking, because I come knocking the same way.
Yeah.
Do a small project, prove it works.
Yeah.
Right. Don't let them take over your entire business all in one day, right? But do a small project, show it works, get people, because the real problem is you got to do cultural change internally.
Yep.
Yeah, right. You got to get your employees on board with AI thinking and AI working. And so you got to start with something, get those people on board, then expand, right? And get more on board. If you're a medium-sized business, like a, Louisville bat company or something like that, first of all, AI makes every worker more efficient.
Yeah.
So, start meeting with your employees, start doing some, start using some GenSpark or some, Pokey or something like that, and see how it works for you,
Yeah.
right? See it, get your employees to start using it on their everyday computers to make them more efficient and learn the downsides, because there's some downsides, right? These things can hallucinate and give you bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And if you're writing a letter to the customer and it puts some bullshit in there, that's not good. Or if it's writing a report for the boss and put some bullshit in there. So you have to learn how to keep your brain engaged while using these new agentic or AI tools. And then I, as a strategy, I would be thinking about how do we really change the business deeply with AI? How do we answer the phone calls with AI? How do we do market research? How do we run our lathe machines with AI? Where is the role for robotics when it does arrive? And whether it's a year or 5, it's coming. So you should start spending some effort on thinking through how are you going to automate more and more of your business with robotics. If you aren't already. But yeah, if you're a bigger business, you're probably evaluating Palantir and trying to figure out how that'll affect your business and how to feed it the data you need it to have to really work, right? It's a magic system. If you're at Walmart or something like that, you're using Palantir, the system can tell you the name of the truck driver driving across Kansas right now, right?
Yeah.
It knows everything and watches everything and lets you be much more agile about running your business. But you have to feed it that data, right?
Right.
And some companies have the ability to do that. Other companies are still running on paper, right? So if you're a paper company, you need to start, digitizing.
A smaller win, yeah.
Well, there's still companies going through digital transformation, they called it, right? Going from paper to running things on a laptop and a database and, modern computing, right? There's still businesses in America that don't do that, which is sad, but I understand it, and this AI thing is going to keep coming, right?
Yeah.
So,
and it's picking up speed. Yeah.
Yeah. Soon you're going to have glasses and robots and, 5 years from now, you might have a brain computer interface on, which is also coming, Yeah, I
don't know. That might even be sooner, but talk about
2 years from now, a hat's coming that can read from your brain. So you just think and the computer does, right? You don't even have to talk to that one. You don't have to type anymore or talk to the computer, but
who's doing that one?
There's a new company, Sahul Rood is running that company. And he says it's going to be about $500 and it's coming in about 2 years. So.
I can't wait.
Yeah. And he's not alone. There's a bunch of companies trying to do various brain computer interfaces. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg had the new armband with his glasses. It listens to your electricity going down your fingers. So it can tell when you're doing this with your thumb, right? So you can scroll through a user interface window just by touching your thumb,
That's crazy.
that kind of thing.
So
Yeah.
let's talk about the politics of AI.
Woo,
And I know
we're
you don't
going to
want
war with China. That's what I hear.
you don't want to step on any landmines here, but still, it's important, right?
I'm willing to step on all of them.
I love it. I love it. So yeah.
Politics,
Tell
man.
me what your vision
Trump
of.
just announced a major new initiative. So he's trying to federalize AI so that everybody is on board with the regulation scheme and everybody doesn't try to do their own, which would really retard America's ability to move forward. Because what's going on is we have a war with China,
Yeah.
right? And an economic war, right?
Yeah.
And both China and Trump people are saying, it could turn kinetic, i.e.,
Yeah.
bombing each other's infrastructure or something like that. Hope it doesn't come to that. But, if you start thinking it through, well, humanoid robots are coming sometime in the next 5 years. If every American business starts buying Chinese robots to, run their shit,
Yeah.
that makes the American economy subservient to the Chinese one, right? So we don't
Yeah.
want to do that. We want to have American robots, or at minimum, American-run operating system in the robots, so that the data doesn't go back to the Chinese government, right?
Right. And there's no hidden code to turn on you.
Yeah, well, it's economic warfare. If they understand us and we don't understand them, they can sell to us and we can't sell to them, and they can extract value out of our economy and know what to buy in our economy, and we don't even know what to do, right?
Yeah.
And that's already sort of happening, right? How many farms have gotten sold to Chinese? How many houses have gotten sold, right? And they're starting to pick, high value things out of America to buy,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they have good data about us because they have TikTok, we don't have a TikTok running in China, right? So we should never have allowed TikTok, but that's another issue.
Right.
I've just watched the Chinese world. I've been to China quite a few times, and I've watched them steal our stuff over and over and
for
over
years,
again,
yeah,
over 40
decades.
years, right? And they have a firewall, so they don't allow Google or Facebook or Twitter or X to be running inside their country. And why did we allow their thing to run inside our country when there's not equal footing, right? That's causing problems. And with robotics, it's going to get worse because, like, my brother runs 2 bars in Virginia, right? He wants 7 of them. And he's pretty honest about it. He's like, I hate my employees. They call in sick. They show up late. They give me lip. They piss off customers. And if I had a robot that could do their job, I'd buy a robot. And a lot of, when I talked to Elon about, I asked Elon, do you have a spreadsheet predicting what markets are going to buy robotics and stuff like that? He goes, you don't need a spreadsheet. The demand is infinite.
Yeah.
In other words, he knows everybody wants to buy robotics for their factory or their office or their retail store, right? Maybe not for every job, but for a lot of jobs, right?
Yeah.
No.
Well, that's kind of a good segue into the universal income, or the fact that people are maybe not going to need to do jobs anymore, or not have jobs because of the robots.
All right. First of all, if we all became a billionaire, we're all billionaires now. First of all, there's not enough private islands in the Bahamas to buy, so that's a problem if everybody was a billionaire. But if we all were billionaires, I've talked to billionaires. Why the fuck are you working? You have enough money for 10,000 lifetimes. You don't need to work. And one guy told me, I my wife laid down the law. Either I get out of the house or we get a divorce.
Yep, yep. I've had that conversation.
And another billionaire told me, I tried to sit on the beach for 2 years, having the jet ski life, and that's for fun, but it gets boring after a while. And I had to use my mind for something. I have all these ideas for, doing things. I like to work with people, and so I like to run things and do things, right?
Yeah.
And same thing is going to be true too here. If all of our jobs get automated, we're going to come up with new jobs. We might call them hobbies today, but you do a hobby long enough, it becomes a job.
Right. But and the thing that you think of is, at the upper level of the income, it's fine. Go do what you want to do, play around. But when you get to the lower level, that's when it's like, are they
I'm
doing
just saying,
anything?
let's pretend all jobs evaporate from our economy and they're all done by robots and AI agents, right? Let's play pretend. Now, the real problem is like truck drivers. There's 1.3 billion truck drivers in America. That's the number one job in America, right? I can tell you definitively, your job is gone in 15 years.
Yeah,
there's no way humans are driving around anymore because I have 2 autonomous cars in my driveway.
Yeah.
And they're better at driving than any human being.
Yeah.
Already. And they're getting better. So in 5 years, they're going to be way fucking better than any human at driving and cheaper. Yeah. So you're trying to tell me, Mr. Truck Driver, you're going to have a job in 5 to 15 years? No, you're not. So let's just be honest with you. Now, what do we do with the truck drivers? Number one, if they can't have a job, they don't have income, they don't feed their family, they're not paying their bank, their loan on their house, they're not buying a new car, they're not going to a restaurant in town and eating out, right? So this is a huge new economic problem for them and for society around them, right? So what do we do about that? Do we give them a guaranteed check? Just, here's a few grand so you can feed yourself, and pay your bills? That's not going to work. That's socialism.
Right.
Try to sell that to Donald Trump. Hey, Donald Trump, can we put some communism in America? No, not going to work. We need a new GI Bill to give that person time so that they don't have to work 3 jobs trying to put food on their table and paying their housing to go back to school to learn something new and to become useful at something new, whether it's a hobby or being an electrician, because we're not going to be able to build enough robots to do every job for years, right? So we need to get those people back, and I call it give them a new shot at a new American dream and get them back to school. My dad escaped poverty through the GI Bill, sort of this way. Right now, he went to the Army for 3 years, got the GI Bill, and the GI Bill gave him the wealth to go to Rutgers University and get a PhD and pull us out of poverty, right? So I like that. I don't like to be in poverty. I like to be, able to buy a robot or two, right? And feed myself and feed my family. And so I'm advocating for something like a new GI Bill, something like a retraining act, something like that, where you give people 4 years to learn. I mean, my brother-in-law runs a glass shop. They took him 4 years to learn everything there is to know and pass the test and get his license, right? So now he has a glass shop and he's doing pretty good. But it took 4 years. Every truck driver needs the same shot, right? And
then do they get re-enrolled in that as robots take over that profession?
Yeah, you might have to do it a few times in the rest of your life. Change is coming, and resiliency and adaptability is really a skill Americans need to have now. Yeah. And we don't. We're fat and lazy. We like to drink our Dunkin' and eat our Dunkin' donut and not work too hard. But
jump way to the future though, and now 99% of the jobs are gone. You
Yeah.
know, and again, I'm not saying that,
Then we're into the billionaire land, right?
right.
Then we might need guaranteed minimum income, but by then we have the political will to change our idea of what an economy is and what a market is and how people get incented to do things, right? Because
Right.
that's what capitalism is. Capitalism gets us out of bed to go to work, to get some money, build something for the economy, right? For other people. And it's all a system to do that, right? Well, that
Yeah.
system might need to radically change, over the next 2 decades, right?
You know,
But
I think the flip side of that is that as we integrate robots and AI into our lives, the cost for things goes way down too.
yeah,
So
yeah,
now what's needed as an income drops.
yeah. Well, except they're going to print more money.
No doubt, no doubt. Yeah. And that's the first thing the AI will tell us to do, stop printing so damn
Yeah,
much money.
keep the prices, from falling. I print a
Right.
lot more money.
Yeah.
Hand out dollar bills. Um, Yeah, I mean, in theory, yes. You costs if you have robots running everything, costs of everything should start falling, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely, and that's why I'm like, pretend you're a billionaire. What do you do when you're a billionaire, right? When you don't have to work anymore, your food is made for you,
Yeah.
everything's covered. What do you do? What are you going to sit on the couch masturbating all day long? That's like I said, that gets boring real quick.
Real quick,
so,
especially for the people around you.
so now we have to define new. We're going to come up with new jobs.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, the technology will create a lot of new jobs too. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
and it's hard to explain that to people who can't dream about a world where we're all wearing smart glasses, but. There's a lot of new jobs to be created in this world. I mean, I'm going to build a little robot business, right? I'm
Yeah.
buying a Neo robot. I'm going to rent it out to my neighbors and in a robo taxi, right? A autonomous car. So it'll take my little robot down to Joe's house and clean his house, right? For 50
Nice.
bucks. Well, that's a nice little business, right?
Yeah, I like that.
Right. Yeah, so that's a new job, right? A little running a
Yeah.
little robot business, or right. So, and there's a lot of new jobs like that that'll evolve over
Right.
time. And even if they don't, we're going to make up jobs because we don't
That's
like
what
to
we
sit at
do.
home. Yeah, we might call them hobby. I mean, Linda Wyman, who's a billionaire, has a 3D printing clay studio in her house, right? And she sells her pots for like $6,000, right? They're pretty expensive, but they're pretty cool because she's good at it, and that was a hobby, but now it's sort of a job. So that's what we're all gonna do is create new things like that for each other.
Right. Right. Yeah. And yeah, yeah, I guess one of the jobs that'll be going away is that of artist. Maybe not completely.
Wait. Uh, I use a lot of AI art programs.
Yeah.
But there's some people in our society that get something really beautiful out of those things.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm saying
art is going to change to.
right.
We have I once got a tour around the Louvre in France
Mhm.
from the French cultural minister, and he took me through history of art. And he showed me how the technology of creating the art, changed what we
Yeah.
were able to express to each other in our art.
I like
Right.
that.
And this is just a new paintbrush.
Yep.
It doesn't require a lot of manual painting the way, Picasso had to, or like Ansel Adams had to spend a lot of time in the darkroom making his photos so beautiful.
Hmm.
I can do that in 10 seconds on my iPhone now, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
same exact thing. In fact, they sort of stole his own system in the
Exactly.
computer,
Yeah.
right? And does pretty much what he used to spend hours doing. Now your phone does it in a quarter second, right?
Yeah.
So I don't look at it as art is going away. Art is going to radically change.
Yeah. Yeah.
What,
Yeah. And I
what we
guess
see in a modern art museum is already changing.
that's
I'm
true.
already seeing AI artists who are really badasses at that, showing up in modern art museums, right? So
That's true. What I was thinking of that came to mind as I was saying it was actors, because
yeah.
that is something that I don't think you'll need as many actors. But
No,
again,
if you need them at all.
right, right, right.
Hey, Tom Cruise, can you jump off the bridge again?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah, like probably get more directors, but a lot less actors.
Yeah, yeah. And you might need an actor for a specific kind of thing or another motion
Or to
capture to
train
do
something.
something,
Yeah.
train something, or to just capture their face with different emotion.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to
And
make
you
that
got to
into a
capture
video
that
now.
with a computer. But yeah, you're right. Hollywood is about to go through a very deep change because of this technology, and already is. If you
Yeah.
go to the Sphere in Las Vegas, which everybody should, if you can
Yeah.
get the $350 for a ticket, is expensive. You got 16,000 pixel screens all wrapped all the way around you, right in that building, and 167,000 speakers. And they remade The Wizard of Oz. And
Mm.
they scanned in the old film. I talked to the teams who did it. They scanned in the old film, and then they used AI and computer graphics techniques to radically improve the movie, make it
Right.
modern, right? To the point where when the tornado hits Dorothy's house, there's air flying around in the theater with debris flying around
No
on your
way.
head. So you feel like you're in a tornado. It's like, whoa! And there's a subwoofer under your ass going. It's like it's quite entertaining.
Yeah.
It's worth the $350, but this example of Hollywood is making new things with technology
Right.
that just were not possible to make before AI came along, right?
Yeah.
And there'll be more. There'll be a
Yeah.
lot. Very personalized media is coming, right? Personalized AI. I mean, you're seeing that with Suno, right? With making
Yeah.
music. You, if you have a stupid lyric in your head, you just go to Suno and type it in, and boom, out comes a song with that stupid lyric,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
And then you can
personalized.
animate yourself singing it in your own voice.
There we go,
Auto-tuned.
right? And send it to your family and friends and get some laughs, right?
Exactly.
Or get a kiss on your wife's birthday because you
Right.
wrote her a nice song, right? I've done that already. It's great.
You got a kiss on my wife's birthday?
I got a kiss on my wife's birthday. I wrote her a little song on Suno and sent it to her and said, "Happy
Nice.
birthday," a cute little song with some lyrics that had some meaning to them, to her.
Sure.
Yeah.
I love that.
Personalized media. The AI is going to be able to do that as it gets to know you more and more. It's going to be able to make things for you more and more
Yeah.
personalized, right?
And speaking of personalized, one of the reasons that things like podcasting and video casting exploded was because it was real, it was personal.
Yeah.
But do you see the need for those dying as well? Because I can just program an AI to put together my show.
We're relics of history, man.
I know already, right?
But the kids now, they send a PDF to Notebook LM and Google, and it makes two people talking just like we are.
That's
We're
right.
obsolete already, Chris.
Exactly. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, more and more of the content on the internet is being developed by AI. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
When I joke we're like relics, I'm not joking too much.
No. No, I would love to see a stat of what percentage is AI now, whether it's bots posting things or
I heard it's
just
more
AI
than
content.
50%.
How many?
I heard it's more than 50% already.
Wow, I believe it. I believe
Right.
it.
And certainly if you look at some social networks, you're seeing a lot of AI generated videos, right?
Yep.
You can, if you know what to look for, oh, that's a Suno, a Sora video or
Right.
Nano Banana video.
Yeah, now they're all adding the remix feature on everything. So everything
Remix.
exactly. So you can create one cool thing and now 10,000 of them show up.
Exactly.
Yeah. pretty crazy.
With the world models coming around the middle of next year, you're going to be able to simulate me in a conversation where anybody and be talking to me
Yeah.
in your glasses.
Yeah.
That'll come in 2027, right? Or on your light field displays are coming in 2027 too, 3D TVs that you could have Aristotle on the screen talking to you, hey, Aristotle, what's up?
and that's fine
Or
for
your brother-in-law. Hey, brother-in-law, what's going on?
for the deceased people. But what about like if I wanted to have a conversation with you, it would just base it on what it knows about you.
And
And
guess
what
what?
is your right to stop that?
Go to Grok and go, please simulate me a conversation between Robert Scoble and Chris Doelle
Yeah.
about the future of podcasting. You'd be shocked how
It'll come out nearly the same.
it does. I've done it with almost 100 people now, famous people, because I like showing them, hey, you and I are obsolete. That's a good way to start a conversation, and show them the conversation, and it's exactly word for word what we just talked about in an interview, right? So the AI, I give X 220,000 posts, right? And I wrote 8 books, and I've been in the world's media, so it can learn about me very well. So it knows me deeper than I know myself in a lot of ways, which is really crazy.
Yeah.
Particularly things, events in my past. I don't remember what I had for lunch yesterday, much less what I did yesterday. But the AI does, right?
Yeah.
And so the AI can tell you, what I did 20 years ago. It's crazy.
Yeah. So what do creators like us do? Just keep learning.
Get weirder.
There you go. I love that.
Get weirder. Humans still like to hear humans, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard to do what we're doing here perfectly, right? It is easy to do a faked conversation that sort of does the same thing, but it doesn't have the same kind of, attitude and the same kind of personality. And it's not a human, and everybody knows it. And so there's still, humans like to talk to humans, and particularly if it's live radio and people are calling up and talking to you. It's hard to do that with AI. AI still doesn't give, you can tell hell with that. AI can tell the difference between a human and an AI. I was just at the AI university, and they have a system that does that, right? And it's pretty accurate now. There's a pattern to AI. There's a coldness to it. A lot of times it's chunky in its language.
Well, as
it
I
talks
say,
too much.
And the most obvious way is when you interact with it via voice, because they don't like silences at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And humans can tell when you're about to continue. AI can't yet.
No. Yeah, a little pause, it fills it in, right? And it's not interruptible very well yet, right? It's not like where we're going back and forth. People like good storytellers. By the way, AI likes a good storyteller too. And the best way to write a prompt is tell it a story, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I need this app that does this thing. That's telling it a story. If you're good at that, you get a better app out of it. If you're good at telling a story, you get a bigger audience because people like listening to you, like a Joe Rogan. Why is he so interesting? Because he's a good storyteller, right?
Yeah.
So I guess that's part of it. Part of it is I'm now doing content for the AIs because, if you're on X, Grok watches the video before it distributes it to anybody.
Yeah.
And so if Grok doesn't like your video, it ain't going to distribute it to anybody. It's like, that's a lame ass video. I'm not going to give that to Joe down the street, And so now you got to talk to Grok. Hey, Grok, what's up? You got to talk to Grok and make Grok smarter. That's one way to look at it. You have the ability to teach AI something, i.e., are you a neuroscientist or a chemist or a physicist at the bleeding edges, right? And developing new things that the AI is not doing. You're probably using AI to help you do those things, right?
Yeah.
Too. So that's one place that's safe for a few minutes. Innovation, inventors.
Do you ever find yourself, are you one of these people that when it's not getting what you want, not understanding, does that anger you and you tell it shut up, or are you just like it's a machine?
The problem is it takes a few minutes sometimes for it to come back with the answer or build you with an app or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't. That's not what I wanted. I gotta tell you a different story, and reprompt it, or tell it, no, move the button over to the right. I want it on the right,
Right.
And then you tell it, and then it moves it right or something like that. Yeah, you can get frustrated with these things because they cost money every time you do them, and if you're doing it at the professional level, and it takes time. It just it comes back with a stupid looking video, and that's not what I wanted.
Not at all what I wanted.
You got to try it again. Try it with a different prompt, different instructions, and see if it gets it the second time. And a lot of times it does, right? It's getting better at that, right?
Yeah.
It used to be really frustrating. Now it's just merely frustrating.
Just merely. Well, gee, we are running up against time already. I have really enjoyed the heck out of this. Thank you so much, Robert.
Yeah, thanks. I don't know how to add any more value, but
well, there you go. Just being you. That's it.
That's it. Come to X. I reshare all the cool stuff that I can find.
Love it. All right, we'll talk soon, man.
Thanks.
Ready to grow your podcast beyond 1,000 downloads per episode? Join the Podcast Masters Guild and unlock proven strategies, expert coaching, and a community of fellow podcasters to elevate your show. Visit freshmediaworks.com/PMG and start growing today.